to the Big Dumb Fun Show.
Broadcasting over the internet, on the airwaves around the world, it's the Big Dumb Fun Show. My name is Aaron.
I am Bankman. Thank you very much for tuning in to another Big Dumb Fun Show. We appreciate having you stop by. Well, most of you stopping. A couple of you to stop by the show. Okay, there's like one or two folks out there that we appreciate stopping by the show. The other of you, you can go suck it. It's time once again for us to give a call, give a little looky-loo to one of our gal pals, is what I'm going to call her. It's Kelly Phillips Erb. She is the tax girl, available online via taxgirl.com. Welcome back to the show, Kelly.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. It just seems like year after year after year, we always mess up on the first time that we call you. But I'm lucky. I'm glad that we're able to get you on to the show tonight. You are, if you go to taxgirl.com, it actually forwards now straight over to Forbes. Are you exclusively with the folks at Forbes now?
It depends on what you call exclusively. I am a contributor for Forbes, so basically I kind of license my content to them.
Do they care that you license or that you share your content with perhaps anybody else?
I don't know that they care.
Yeah.
They're super great at Forbes, and they're actually very encouraging. And I do other stuff from time to time. I've written a couple pieces for like Time and USA Today and folks like that, and they're pretty good about not caring. I'm pretty loyal to them, and I think they know that.
Have they ever tried to say you should write an article about the flat tax? Because remember, that was Forbes.
No, actually, one of the cool things about Forbes is they let me write about whatever I want to. So they actually don't feed me stories. I've written for other places before where they feed me stories, and I have very strong feelings about the flat tax. So they actually haven't, fed me any stories or told me I had to write about anything. So, but I have been retweeted by Mr. Forbes before. That was pretty exciting.
Wow, Steve Forbes himself?
Yeah.
Does he have more followers than you?
Oh my God, yeah.
I guess when you're a millionaire, you get a lot of followers, be it via Twitter or just in the supermarket.
Oh, sure.
What's going on taxroll.com? What's the big question this year? There's always that one thing, year after year, maybe a couple of things that folks are really asking about. I thought we'd get it from the horse's mouth, exactly what's going on.
There's a lot going on this year, actually. The biggest issue is that it's a shorter filing season. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but it actually is about 75% of last year's filing season because, first of all, we're filing on time this year, so it's an actual April 15th deadline, so there's no holidays, no weekends, nothing pushing it out.
True.
Like last year. And also the season got started later this year because of the whole tax deal that got struck in the first week of January. So there were some retroactive tax issues to 2012 that complicated things. So IRS had to redo some forms and change their software. So they actually pushed off tax filing season until January 30th this year, and some folks couldn't even file until the middle of February.
Yeah, well,
so that was kind of making some people crazy.
I did notice, and I noticed this from a business standpoint, because usually at my business, when I would have my January really, really sucked, and I'm in sales, and the reason why is after we started calling people is that we don't have our tax money back yet. We don't have that sweet ass refund coming at us, and so that really was bad for me. So, but they didn't decide because we're not going to allow you to file until the 30th. You said the 30th of January. They didn't say, we're going to go ahead and accept taxes into mid-May. It's still going to be the deadline for everybody else, but the government can do whatever they want.
Absolutely. Although you actually raised a really good point. I did a piece on, I don't know if you heard, but there were some leaked emails out of Walmart where they were complaining about it being the worst quarter that they had seen, worst start to a quarter that they had seen in years. And they were trying to figure out why. And I wrote a piece kind of speculating that I think one of the reasons is that people who are early filers tend to be people seeking refunds. People like me that are going to end up paying, I like to put it off as much as possible. But if you're going to get money back, you tend to file really early on. The fact that they're pushing off tax season this year, about half of all of the folks who are going to get refunds file in the first couple of weeks. The fact that that got pushed off about 2 weeks, I think actually did shake up the economy quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, I work in an office.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah, I had read that about that leaked Walmart memo where they said their sales were down. It was like the lowest in 7 years.
If it's a memo at Walmart, how can it be leaked? It's Walmart. It's going to thousands of people out there.
No, I don't think it's. I think it's an internal memo.
Oh, an internal.
Yeah, it was.
Now,
It was a guy. It was one of the higher ups, kind of writing a note to somebody saying, this is terrible. What are we going to do, kind of thing. And somebody got a hold of it, and I think they leaked it. I can't remember if it was Reuters or Bloomberg, but it was to one of the news outlets, and then it kind of took off from there.
Well, so this leads to the question. I mean, you say the people that got refunds coming back file as early as they can. Generally, the people that are going to have to pay money in, filing later. So, have you filed your taxes?
Oh no, Mitt Romney and I, we get extensions.
Oh wow! I mean, you're in cahoots with good people, then I guess.
Well,
Exactly. No,
you're
actually,
in
the reason
cahoots
I
with
file
me.
extension has very little to do with my enormous wealth, which I'm totally joking about.
Yeah.
And more to do with the idea that because I run a firm, a law firm, I'm a tax attorney, so I have a law firm, and I have to wait until the taxes for the firm get done before I can do mine. And then I'm busy, so I almost inevitably end up doing an extension.
Well, you should just call them and say you're busy. Lay off you.
Well, when you do your
Exactly, because IRS would love that.
yeah, they are very understanding that way. Well, when you do your taxes and you file for an extension, it's an estimate of what you expect it to be.
Yes.
Right, and that's you, that's me, that's anybody. Now, what happens when that number isn't quite so accurate? Say in August when you finally file.
If you overstate, you get it back. You can ask for a refund.
But if you understated it,
if you overstate what you owe, like if I say I owe $5,000, but it turns out I only owe $3,000, then I can get it back. So that, quite frankly, even though that feels like it would be a good thing, you don't want to do that because you don't get interest on that money. So it's gone. You just get it back when you file in October or whenever you file. If you understated, it depends on by how much. There's actually a safe harbor rule. So if you pay the same amount from 1 year as you pay for the next year, so if your total tax liability last year was $8,000 and you had, $5,000 worth of withholding, so you make an extra $3,000 payment, even if you end up owing a lot more, as long as you've made the amount, you've paid the amount that you owed last year, you don't get hit with the penalty. But if you just say, you know what, I don't know how much I'm going to owe, I'm not going to pay anything, or I'm going to pay $100, and we'll just see what happens, and you're outside of that safe harbor, and you're basically the magic number tends to be around $1,500 if you're outside of that harbor, then you get socked with the penalty.
Kelly, when we come back, I want to talk about how I can hide my funds in tax shelters. We're speaking with Kelly Phillips Erb, the tax girl. I mean, I got millions out there, and I got to hide it from the government to offshore, if you know what I mean. I figure you're the perfect person to ask about that. Kelly Phillips Erb tonight on the Big Dumb Fun Show. Stay tuned.
We'll do one song. We'll be right back.